appear to be your typical bowl of vanilla ice cream, but it is in fact made from plastic waste. The ice cream was developed by Eleonora Ortolani, an artist and designer who wants to change the way we think about food and what we consider to be edible. The confection still has to go through extensive testing before it is available for human consumption, but until then, Ortolani is sharing her creation through an exhibit called D3VILS.
So D3VILS is what I believe is the first sample of ice cream made from plastic waste. Actually, the vanillin contained in the ice cream is what it's coming from the same plastic as we can find in bottles, plastic bottles. And I did that collaborating with bacteria and enzymes that actually naturally evolved to digest plastic.
The process enlists bacteria and enzymes to digest polyethylene terephthalate, or PET, a plastic commonly used in bottles, packaging, and food containers, and turn it into vanillin, the molecule that gives vanilla its flavor. Dr. Joanna Sadler, a biotechnologist from the University of Edinburgh, who provided the specifically engineered bugs for Ortolani's project, says the potential of this process goes beyond vanilla ice cream to other flavors and even other food items.
Once you break down the plastics, in this case PET, once you break it down into its building blocks, we call those monomers, you can turn those into many, many different things.
Sadler says she has received backlash for her research on degrading and upcycling plastic for use as feedstock for microbial growth. She wants to make it clear that products like Ortolani's ice cream aren't hitting the shelf at your local grocer anytime soon.
I even had members of the public email me saying it's irresponsible to encourage people to eat plastic. And I think it's this thing that there's this perhaps misconception around what it actually is by the end of the process, that it is no longer plastic. But I think as part of that, it is really important that we take the safety side of it really, really seriously, and we make it very clear that this has to go through exactly the same regulatory processes and food standard processes as any other food ingredient. And only once it's been through all of those would it go anywhere near any kind of consumer product.
Until then, Ortolani hopes D3VILS can help spark vital conversation around plastic pollution and what she says is a looming global food crisis.
This project started from a very big frustration about how the plastic recycling system cannot keep up, and also that despite all the information around plastic production is not decreasing, it's actually increasing. When I started this project, it was just very science fiction, and I was only interested in the critical sides and, like pushing boundaries and trying to explore what actually is possible and what is not. But during the journey, it was already clear that some species did that. Some species are eating plastic, and some scientists are already looking into that. So why not?
Shalom, all praise to the Most High, Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushua, by Hashem, Rakak, and double honor to the apostles and elders, great millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. It's your brother Atazaman Bayal. I'm back with another short lesson, and we saw that clip to where you find these devils, and you can't say that these people are not devils. All right, that Esau Edom is not the devil that's spoken of in the scriptures. Okay. So their idea is to begin to feed humans plastic, okay? And in that, this plastic that's just all over the earth, all right? From plastic bottles to plastic bags, plastic trash cans, you name it, almost everything that you touch today has some form of plastic, all right? Content, okay? Some way, shape, or form, okay? But anyhow, you see that they're trying to begin to condition and convince the people that eating plastic is going to be safe, okay? And their whole idea of their NWO and climate change and getting away from natural things to eat, okay? GMO foods are what you consume today. And as you go forward, their idea is to get away from natural foods altogether, all right? And no matter how they disguise it, it's nothing but pure wickedness, all right? And you would be surprised at how many of our people will subscribe to the thought process of Esau, all right? Because they're still asleep. Their eyes are closed and they don't see any harm in it. Now, this past week or so, they had this, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, I can't remember, had this idea of a National Cheeseburger Day, right? And these people are putting this stuff out here for human consumption. Now they're saying, oh, well, it's not out now in the case of that clip about the plastic ice cream. But you know that they're feeding, you know, the population plastic cheese, plastic rice, so-called meat that's made from bugs, all right, crickets, roaches, ants, whatever it is, mosquitoes, that they're putting this stuff out here and calling it food, all right. And Jake is so simple that they went out there and bought this laboratory-grown meat that they used in these 1 cent and 50-cent hamburgers, okay, with plastic cheese on it, all right, and several of them became sick, okay. So we're just gonna get a few scriptures and 1 or 2 definitions, and we'll be done as far as this goes, okay, just to show you the wickedness of this man, all right, who is callous and without any type of compassion, all right, for the people of the earth, all right. So this is Proverbs 1:22, and it says, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorn, and the fools hate knowledge, okay. And so the men of the Lord have been preaching to tell you to be on the lookout for the devil, right? But many, particularly Jakes, many Jakes have scoffed at this truth, right? This knowledge of the scriptures, these warnings of the scriptures, right? They've scoffed at the trumpet being blown to tell you, okay, what's coming down the pipe for you, okay? To tell you to be on the lookout for this devil, all right? And so Jake is just still simple, all right? And they love being simple. Knowledge is not something that they get along with, okay? So let's go on to the next scripture. This is 1 Timothy, and I'm not going to be long. And right at the top it says apostasy, and we'll get into the definition here in a second, all right? But I want to use this just for the purpose of being able to earmark or identify what you're seeing, especially while watching this clip, and knowing the agenda of the elite, okay? So this is 1 Timothy 4:1, it reads, now the Spirit speaketh expressively, that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. Okay, so of course this is going into people who had the faith and lost it, right? Through whatever means, idolatry or whatever the case may be, okay? However, when you put it in a context, let's just say of today, and you looking at giving heed to seducing spirits, a wicked spirit. Esau, Edom, has a wicked spirit, right? His spirit is not upright in him. That he's putting out here all of these ideas, okay, to quote unquote save the planet by what? Depopulation, by making the population sick and eventually dying off, right? By killing all the animals, all right, or getting rid of the animals so that you can't have really natural meat, right? Tainting the air, tainting the water, all right, polluting the land and the ground, okay, giving you GMO foods, GMO fish, GMO vegetables, GMO fruits. Okay? Now we'll read it again. The Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter time some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, right? And to tell you that something that's man-made, synthetic, that's plastic, is better for you than a natural, real thing. That's hypocrisy, okay? Having their conscience seared with a hot iron, and we know this is, talking about the faith once again, okay? But like I said, if we apply this just by what we saw in that clip, okay, that these people are wicked, they're hypocritical, they're liars, they're devils, okay, and they have that seducing spirit. All right. Verse 3, forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain from meats. And that's what they're telling you. All right. We're going to make up stuff to give you. It may make you sick, but that's the whole purpose. All right. Because they want to depopulate the earth. Okay. So they're going to give you this idea that meat is bad for the planet. Animals are bad for the planet. Okay. Forbidding to marry, right? So they want everybody to be what? LBKQRW, whatever. They want you to be in the mixed up bag of alphabet soup, right? Because when you're speaking of marriage, you're talking about a man and a woman who can actually produce offspring, children. Here in this wicked place, two of the same can get married, sure. Because out of that, it doesn't bring life. All right? So they're against the natural order of the Most High. Okay? They're against the natural fruits, vegetables, and lawful meat for us to eat. They're against that. Anything having to do with the order that Yahweh Shem Yahushua established, they want to do the contrary to. You see? Verse 3 again, forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain from meats which the Most High had created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth, right? That which is lawful for a man to consume. For every creature of the Most High is good and nothing to be refused if it be received with thanksgiving. For it is sanctified by the word of the Most High in prayer, right? All right? And again, speaking on those that are things that are lawful for a man to live off of, for sustenance, okay? Now let's look at this word apostasy. Apostasy, all right? It says, an act of refusing to continue to follow, obey, or recognize a religious faith, abandonment of a previous loyalty, right? And Jake is going to fall, all right, into a state of believing everything that these devils tell you against your own spirit, against your own consciousness, that you know that it's wrong because Jake is silly, all right? So let's go to Salakia. Look this up in Google. And here I pulled up turning plastic into food. And it says we're taking bacteria that are really good and oily compounds and feeding them that pre-chewed up plastic. Okay? So somehow they're using bacteria to break down plastics to make it to where it's easily to I guess eat or digest, all right? Here this one says, how does eating plastic affect humans? It says the toxic chemical additives and pollutants found in plastics threaten human health on a global scale. Scientifically proven health effects include what? Causing cancer or changing hormone activity known as endocrine disruption, which can lead to reproductive growth and cognitive impairment. You see? And then here it says, are some foods made out of plastic? Other studies have found microplastics in beer, wine, and polyethylene stoppers, rice, table salts, and honey. Microplastics can even be found in fruits and vegetables like apples, broccoli, and carrots, with plants able to absorb nanoplastics through their root system. Okay? So obviously, it's either something that they're applying to the vegetables that allows the plastic to get into the vegetables through the root system, either by putting it into the soil, or maybe there's something that they're putting on top of the vegetables or fruits. You see? And that's just pure wickedness. All right, this second Ezra 16:18, and it reads, the fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth, like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer, returning not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? Right? So Ezra is saying in those days, he'd be on the earth today, let's say, and you see all of this going on, this wickedness going on, all right, where a few people in their minds are trying to decide who is fit to live and who shall die. Okay? That's what they believe, that they're in control of that. All right? So let's go on. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death. And it doesn't just say death, okay? It says great death. So mass numbers of casualties of death, all right, is on the way. Famine, not having enough to eat, okay? Creating plastic products for humans to digest, all right? The beginning of wars and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for men, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, right? And just as a case in point, right, as an example, they just had that hamburger thing a week or so ago, right? 1 cent hamburgers, 50-cent hamburger, after you spend, I don't know, $1 or whatever it was, you see? And Jake went out there being simple and bought all the garbage they could and ate and gave themselves a wicked-ass stomachache, okay? And made themselves sick from gorging on this fake food, all right? Verse 21 again, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And it's no wonder that they will create this stuff, okay, because there'll be a shortage of real food and they'll put this shit out here for cheap. And the only thing that's going to happen is people are going to get sick and die. All right? Point blank. Okay? Going on, it says, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. And that's what you have now here in Babylon the Great. Nothing but great confusion. How the hell can you decide that plastic is better than real natural food? And that's what you want to serve the people. You can't tell me that Esau Edom is not the damn devil. All right? So I'll end the lesson right there. All right? And I'll just say shalom.